Yes, yes, yes. Welcome to Come Well to another episode, another doorway, another portal entitled Am I as I am, as you are? Today's episode, we're going to be touching upon an interesting topic uh, related to everybody and everyone and anyone and anything. And to me, it's a quite interesting one. So you're going to have to use your mind a little bit more on this one to understand and grasp what I'm truly saying. um, in order to interpret what it means to you. Okay? So, today's topic is entitled What is Birth? What is this thing that we call birth? Being born. What is birth really? What is birth truly? What does it mean to be birthed? Um, so of course, regular format. Probably go along with the episode. Uh, open up a few notes that I've written down, a few one-liners. And from these one-liners, I channel when I get what I get from it, and I share with you. Okay, the regular format. Um, so take a line for line, doorway after doorway, and together we walk down this hallway. Cool? You with it? All right, let's get into it. Okay, so the first line and or doorway is the neutron, proton, and electron. What are these things really? What's really happening? What's really going on? Well, if you look at the atomic nucleus, when you have a slight understanding of atomic physics, um, the atom or the atomic nucleus is a thing which is in the center. The neutron, of course, is also accompanied by the atomic nucleus, the nucleus, which is the neutron. The neutron being the center dot, just understand the center dot. Then you have a proton. A proton is that which supports the neutron because it is proton. It is for the ton. Pro just means for something. So proton means pro-neutron, pro-nucleus. It's for the nucleus. It's for the agenda and the operation and function of the nucleus, which is the atomic nucleus, which is what we know as the neutron. In other words, get more into it. And then you have the electron. Now, you know the word elect means to bring about somebody or bring about something to the forefront of something. It's electing something, bringing something here to the forefront, to the surface. So you have the neutron, you have the proton, and then you have the electron. And these things, I guess you could say there's something in the middle that has these things that are pro for it, which is the proton, to bring it out, but can only bring it out through the electricity, the elected one, the election, the electron. So there's something swarming in the middle. And that thing that's swarming in the middle, there's things that are pro for it, there's things that are for it, that are with it. And the electron, it elects it out forward. So you have the understanding of the neutron, proton, the electron. Neutron only means nucleus, which means center. Proton just means something for the centering, that supports the centering. Electron means it elects that centered something and pushes it forward and pushes it out. So the neutron, proton, electron, there's something brewing, there's something stirring, there's something happening in this middle center of nothingness. Something is happening, right? So the neutron is the center, the proton supports the center, and the electron brings the supported center forth on its way to manifest into whatever it's supposed to manifest into. Right? So get that understanding that there's something appearing, something appears, and these things start to swirl around it in order to bring it about. So there's this swirling action going on around the centered atomic nucleus, or this nuclei. And it's doing all this activity around this centered atomic nuclei to bring something out of that invisible realm of nothingness of that atomic nuclei, to burst it and blast it out forward in 360 mode. So it's opening like this from a center point of nothingness. Okay? These things, protons and electrons, are working for the atomic nucleus. This is also known in the way of understanding as the neutron. Okay? Understand that as I go along. It'll get them a little more clearer. Okay? The next line and or doorway is, did the atom exist before the electrons, protons, and neutrons appeared? Or did the electrons, protons, and neutrons exist before the atom appeared? Let me say that one more time. Did the atom exist before the electrons, protons, and neutrons appeared? Or did the electrons, protons, and neutrons exist before the atom appeared? So in other words, does the spiraling and swirling exist before the manifesto, or was the manifesto within an invisible existence before the spiraling and swirling appeared, happened, and occurred? The spiraling and swirling is nothing but something surrounding a centered force of some sort. So this is something personal. I kind of asked myself, I said, did the atom exist before the electron, proton, and neutron was swirling around it and spiraling around it, or what is the spiraling even happening for if that atom didn't appear or didn't exist somewhere in existence that we can't fathom, something that we can't see and grasp visibly? So I just juggle with this for a minute. And this is just something personal I'm sharing with you. So it's something to dig into your mind into and just kind of have a little mind play with this understanding. Okay. So I just kind of question myself, because everybody talks about the atom, the atomic nucleus in school. We heard about the atom, then we see the electrons, the neutrons, the protons, and we see this thing swirling, the center dot. But my question is, did electrons, protons, and neutrons exist before the atom, or did the atom exist before the electrons, protons, and moving around and swirling around it? Of course, you have things that develop from the atom or the atomic nucleus, which is the atom, molecules, and compound, which is the buildup of the manifested thing in the physical form. Because from the atomic nucleus, from the atom, you have the atom, molecule, and compound. And this is just nothing but gross matter, gross matter, or accumulation, gathering, to kind of cocoon something. To cocoon the centered force that's hidden within the gathering, or accumulation. But it's all accumulating to surround this one thing, this one life force which exists in the middle of the nuclei of that thing. Okay, I'm gonna get a little more into it. Just understand. Okay. The next line in our doorway is, people call this a planet. People call this a world. People call this an earth. So let's look at the word planet. Is this really a planet? When you take the word plane and you put the small letter t to the side, which is planet, the word planet, but you take the word plane and take that small lowercase t and turn that lowercase t sideways, it says plane X, which is X is known as the unknown. So plane of the unknown, or the unknown plane of existence. So the unknown plane of existence, or the plane of the unknown existence. And this is what the word planet actually means when you break it down. Because remember, you have to break these words down into symbols because every letter is a symbol. There's no such thing as an alphabet or a letter. These are actually symbols. It's all based on symbology. Alphabet, alpha, beta. Alpha, beta are different brain waves of the mind. Mind sees in symbol. Shapes, colors, symbol. So planet is plane X, or X plane, or the X plane, or the unknown plane, or plane of the unknown, or plane of the unknown existence. This is what planet is, right? I'm gonna go into that other one. Earth is orth, which is ortho. Ortho means straight, and ortho, which means straight, which is nothing but force, or the life force, or the force of life that you are. So ortho just means forward, which is where you get the word earth. You get the word earth from the word orth. Orth is ortho, meaning forward. Forward just means a force, or a forwarding force moving forward. Something which is constantly forward, like the atom or the atomic nucleus. Everything is forward. Proton, the electron. After that atom, it's an atom now, it's a molecule. Now it's a compound, it's a forwarding force of some sort. So you have the word planet, then you have the word earth. Planet means plane X. The word earth means ortho. And then you have this word called world. Before I get into that, I have to explain where I'm coming from with the word world. First, understand this. According to ancient technology and ancient understanding, in today's time, we say that the mother gave birth to the child. According to the ancestral understanding, the child gave birth to the parents. So it's like, well, what is that? I don't get, what does that mean? How can a child give birth to the parent if the child is coming out of the mother's womb? Remember, we didn't look at things from a physical standpoint. Everything was from the invisible realm, or the transparent, or the translucent, the spiritual realm. I'll put it like this. I had drew like a graph, on that graph, pardon me. I had drew something on a certain kind of, I guess, blackboard, a small blackboard, or small board of some sort. And this is where this whole video came from. This came from me looking at the position, or the positioning, or the pose of a fetus. This is where this whole thing came from. This is where this video came from. So I drew the fetus, and I looked at the fetus, and it's kind of a board. You can see a little bit certain ways. You can see that clear. Okay. I drew the fetus in a certain way, just real quick. And this is the fetus. Right? We're born like this, with our knees and our elbow, or our elbow and our knees touching, and our head is down, and our thigh is up, and the calf, or the leg is standing down, and the arm is up, and we're like this, and the head is down like this. So I looked at this and I drew it again over here. When I drew it again over here, I followed the center of the fetus, and I started to spiral outward. And I started touching the arm, then the thigh, then the head, then the leg, and then the top of the head. So I seen that what we see as a fetus or fetal position is also known as a spiral or a spiraling like effect or a swirling like effect. So when I seen this, I said, okay, it came to me immediately. I said, this is the functioning of an atom. That's the functioning of an atom. It's spiraling around a central core nucleus. And this is how we come out as fetus. We look like this, but this is representing this. So what that means is that we willed ourself into existence. You brought yourself here. What do I mean by that? To make it real simple, you created a stomach around your nucleus, then a body around the stomach, then a life within the body, then an experience for the life, then a situation that the experience finds itself in, then a circumstance that creates the situation. In other words, you have willed yourself into being. The very position of the fetus, this pose is in a spiral-like form. This is a spiral. Spiraling, pardon me. Spiraling. See, if I take this and I follow, it's a spiral. This position means that you are the atomic nucleus and that you spiraled your whole reality around you. You created everything. So in other words, it's like saying you said, I will be born, or I am, or I will, and you appeared. So in the very moment you said, I am, you were coming out of a womb. And in between that moment that you said, I am, and coming out of a womb, you created a whole circumstance. Who you now know as your parents. You made them look at each other, glance at each other, call and make a date, go on dinners together, have sex, him ejaculated to her, and then you appeared 9 months later from whenever they decided to have intercourse. But it all happened within the moment when you said, I will be, or I am. You said, I will be, I am, and you come out crying. And that's like a blink of an eye. But within that blink of an eye, you created a whole circumstance and a situation for these two people to meet and to have intercourse in order to bring about you. So in other words, what you call mommy and daddy or parents, because remember the word parents is the same word as apparent. Apparent means seemingly or not really there. So your parents or your parent is that which is apparent or apparently means that it's not really there. She's not really there. He's not really there. You created yourself. This fetal position, this is symbolic of a spiraling. And the spiraling is symbolic of an atom which is gathering its components to bring about the manifested physical thing. So just the very position of the fetus shows that you are in the posture of an atom, gathering its reality around itself. So you didn't appear in your mother's stomach, you created a stomach around yourself. And then you created a body with that stomach to be around you. And then you created circumstances and situations for that intercourse to happen, for that ejaculation to happen, in order for you to appear in the physical form. And this is how this happened. This is why the ancestors, according to ancient science, that you gave birth to your mother. Your mother didn't give birth to you. Or you gave birth to your parents. Your mother never gave birth to you. So in a way, it's like understanding how parents are like, what we call parents are just not really real things. These are things like puppets. We think we created the child, but the child actually created us. You're a god, and you have god-like, god-esque qualities. So understand that you created your whole reality. Nobody created you. As soon as you said, I am, in a spiritual understanding, as soon as you said, I will be, immediately you said, I will be, and you came crawling out and sliding out of a womb. As soon as you said that, I will be out of the womb. And between that moment, that bracket, you created a whole circumstance of this guy seen this girl that he liked. He probably smiled at her one day. Next week, he's seen her again. The next 2 days, he wanted to ask her on a date. Next week, they went out on a date. Maybe she said, well, I don't like to be intimate like that. I like to know who you are first before we get intimate like that. He said, okay, no problem. Maybe a month or two later, they started flirting with each other a little bit more. He started touching her. She started touching him. A month or two down the line, maybe they got intimate a little bit. 4 months down the line, they got into intercourse a lot. And then maybe a year later, he finally ejaculated into her. 9 months down the line, you came out the womb. And that can be within a weeks, months, years of span, a year's span, a week's span, months span, years span. And that all fitted into as soon as you said, I will be, came out the womb. To you, it was a moment. In the physical reality, or the physical dimension, there was time. Him and her, these two people knew each other for a few months before they decided to be intimate. They may have knew each other for a few years before they decided to be intimate and have intercourse. Until they decided, yeah, we're going to be husband and wife. You're going to be my wife, and you're going to bear my children. And they went through all these conversations. They went out to dinner a few times, met friends, went to different places, traveled. All of this, they did all of this. Anywhere from weeks to months to years. And then you came sliding out of a womb. To them, it was like, oh, 2 years. I knew your mother for 2 years, and then we decided to have you. Because I decided I wanted to marry her. She was pregnant. I decided to marry her. I decided to marry her before she got pregnant. And we decided on it, blah, 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 blah. And then you came about. But to you, spiritually, all you had to do was say, I am. And you came out the womb. All you had to do was say, I will be. And you came out the womb. Bang, bang. I am. Out the womb. I will be. Out the womb. You created that whole scenario in that moment. Moment to moment. Moment to moment. And between that moment to moment, or moment to moment, weeks, months, and years happen within that moment to moment. You created the whole circumstance, the whole thing in order for you to appear in this physical reality. This spiraling is creating matter, this fetal position, this atomic nucleus, the spiraling, the swirling around this. You created everything around you. You created a what you call incubation, which is what they call a woman's stomach, a woman's body, reproductive system. For a child is the incubation process. You created a whole incubation system around you, which is what we call the stomach. So this is the whole point. You spiraled yourself into being. You swirled yourself into being. So this goes back to when I was talking about the word planet or earth. You have the word world. Now let's look at the word world. Remember, as you're spinning or spiraling or swirling, a whirling is happening. When you came out the womb, you appeared in a world. Now, we're not talking about WORLD. No. We're talking about WHIRLED. This is what world is. The world is not WORLD. See, that's the game. Since you're a swirling thing and you swirled, you spiraled, and you swirled your way into existence. So the swirling created a whirling. So the world you appeared in is not some round thing or globe. No. World, not WORLD. WHIRLED. This is a whirl. Not world, just a whirl. See, so your swirl made you appear in a whirl, like a whirlpool. So this is the word world. Why I didn't just touch upon the word world so soon when I was touching upon the word planet and earth. The swirl, and you appeared in a whirl. So this is the whole point, is that you've actually once again created yourself, and you swirled yourself into a world, a whirling of some sort, a whirlpool, a dimensional whirlpool of existence, to have a quote unquote human experience. See, so this is the whole understanding of where I'm coming from, what I'm talking about. Okay, get a little more into it, and even if you look at it right now, wherever you at, you have things in front of you, you have things behind you, you have things to the side of you, and things to the right of you. Which means that you are constantly acting like an atom. I have a light up top, I have a window behind me, I have a laptop in front of me, I have my table to the left, I have what I plugged the laptop into to the right. A wall, ceiling, floor, window. We behave like an atom, no matter whether you know it or not. Unbeknownst to you, consciously or unconsciously, this is what happens. So you are always constantly behaving like an atom, or an atomic nucleus, or a neutron and proton, electron, constantly reaching out as an electron, doing things, grabbing things in front of you and around you all the time, behind you. See, so as a matter of fact, as far as your arms can stretch out is how far your energy stretches. Or this is your realm or your orbit of existence, which you exist in. As far high up your arms stretch, below, this is your orb of existence in this reality which you appeared in. And this orb, however it may stretch out in diameter, this is the bubble or the bubbling or the sphere which you are surrounded within, whether you know of it or not. This is the energy field that you are surrounded within. or covered within, or bubbled within. This is your world. World of the circle, they call it globe. No, this is the world right here. This is your whirlpool or your whirling effect. As far out as your arms go, and your legs as well. As far as your legs go, the arms go, everything. This is the world. This is your world, your bubble, your globe, your surrounding. It's not out there somewhere, up there and down here. No, it's right here. See, so this is, I'm getting deep into some, but hopefully you understand where I'm coming from a little some. Like I said, if you have any more questions or you want to build on anything or add anything or comment or whatever you want to do, information is right down below the video. All my information is there, email, certain ways if you want to, build on certain things. I don't really have to understand what I'm saying. I can break it down more through conversation. Like I said before, I'm not really used to talking to a video or camera. I'm used to building with people and having conversations, in-person live conversations to bring clarification, to spark that activation of the realization within someone on the spot, in the moment. Okay? Okay. The next line in our doorway is the word womb is also the word room and tomb. From the womb to the tomb, of course, we know. It's also the word whom, which is the unknown. So the word womb is also the word whom. Whom means an unknown thing. So which is the unknown, plan X, or the plane X, or the plane of the unknown, or the unknown plane of existence, which is what you appear within. The ortho, the forwarding force, the whirl, the swirl, the spiral. These are all code words. These are words that you kind of break down and decode on your own. But understand from this foundation, or where I'm broadcasting from, in order to break it down properly and make sense of it metaphysically and occult wise, dealing with the occult wisdom. Okay. Let me see. Okay. The next line in the doorway is you move and live like an atom. You're constantly cycling, ciphering, orbiting, spiraling, and circling yourself every moment of your liveliness. Like I was doing before, you're constantly in circle mode, moving around in circles. I got something behind me, I'm thinking of something behind me. I got something in front of me, I'm doing something in front of me. Laptop, some on the side, table over here, there's another table over here. Got something over here, which may be a light switch up here somewhere. We constantly have things, no matter where we're at, we move and behave like an atom. So understand what I'm saying a certain way. Okay? Which is why I said the whole thing with the whole fetal position is very important to understand what I'm touching upon that. You are this spiraling atom or the swirling thing that created a whole reality around you in order for you to appear in the physical dimension. Once again, like I said, your mother, that's a matter of fact, somebody had brought it up, I'm going to bring it up. That's why also, as a matter of fact, why some women don't know that they're pregnant until they know and find out that they're pregnant. What do I mean by that? Well, it once again validates and confirms what I'm talking about. You appeared. And it doesn't necessarily mean that she automatically knows. You see? So even the surprise pregnancy, or I didn't know I was pregnant. I didn't know I was pregnant to the first trimester, the second trimester, the third trimester. I didn't know what was going on. I just thought I was getting heavier or this and that. Some women don't know that they're pregnant until they find out that they're pregnant, which means that you are a God and you willed yourself into being. Okay, this once again confirms that, even once again confirms and validates what I'm saying and sharing with you right now in this moment. You create a stomach around you and an organism to have that stomach, and a person that is that organism creating a personality, going on a date with somebody, having intercourse, getting pregnant, and then you come out. You done all this. So if you can flip your brain backwards or bring, a different kind of understanding to what we were told and taught that being pregnant and giving birth was, you erase all that shit. And understand what I'm telling you. This is how your ancestors understood this whole process. There was no such thing as she gave birth to him or she gave birth to them. No, the child gave birth to the parents. The child willed itself into being. The child or the entity said, I am. As soon as it said, I am, it appeared. Within that moment, we knew that plenty of time had passed, because remember, time only exists in the physical realm, not in the spiritual aspect. So that's why when spirit, I am or I will be, you appear, just like that. In the physical realm or dimension, or the flip side, the reflection of it, a lot of time has passed, or enough time has passed where these two seen each other, they got to know each other, they went on dates, went alone. He went to her house or she went to his house. They were intimate, had intercourse. He ejaculated into her. She got pregnant. 9 months passed, and then the child appeared. We knew all that shit was garbage. That's not how it works. There's a deeper understanding, which is the parents think they're doing on their own. Oh, I really liked her. I seen her and I had a date with her, and I wanted to meet her. I said she looked nice, and I'd like to meet you. I'd like to talk to you. Here's my number. Let's get together someday. And she said, well, I met your father. I was attracted to him, and I accepted him. He was a gentleman, and I appreciated his manners, and I met his parents and his family. Went to barbecues, and we met his family, met my family met his, and we really embraced him. He came to certain occasions and holidays, and we went out. That's only according to the time realm, time dimension. You think you did all that, but in a way, you and him were possessed, or you and her were possessed, or you and him were just puppets, or you and her were just puppets. You were being used by a deeper force to bring itself into being through the womb of you. And this is how it really goes down. Okay? In the spiritual aspect. Okay, the next line in our doorway is the embryo is emblem, or the embedded thing. The thing which becomes embedded, or the thing which embeds itself in the dimension of this physical reality. It's a certain kind of embedding. It stamped itself, it branded itself into this reality, and it appeared from nothing into something. It's a stamp of approval. It embedded itself in this clear vast of nothingness and made a somethingness appear. This is what you did. Okay? Next line in our doorway is birth. The word birth is the word breath. A new birth has taken place, quote unquote. When they say, hey, a new birth has taken place, means another breath has taken space, or another breath has been taken within space. So when people say a new birth has taken place, what really happened is it means that another breath has taken space, or another breath has been taken within space. Something appeared. A breath was taken in. So breath or birth just means breath. Take away the birth and the whole birth idea and the whole birth concept. Birth just means breath. So something from nothing took a breath in between time and space at a certain kind of location and place. But you just popped up. You popped up and popped out. And that's how it goes. You popped out and popped up. Where did you come from? Okay. Of course, the word egg, and the mother has the egg, and the sperm gets the egg and splits it. The word egg is the word ego, which means the eager, which is nothing but the force or the forward or the forwarding thing or the forwarded thing. So the egg is just the ego. You need to split the egg in order to become infused with this realm, which is based upon ego. So that's how it has to be here. Okay, the physical has to, or the unphysical has to validate itself through the physical dimension, which means that it has to become physical once it crosses over from nothing into the something realm. It has to become something of solitude or some sort. So the egg is ego, and ego is the word eager, which just means nothing but the force or the forward or the forwarding thing. Once again, it's pretty much what it is. I'm gonna leave it right here, short and sweet. I don't want to flood you with too much at the moment, but just understand that you've birthed yourself into being, into this existence. Your mother didn't give birth to you. There is no such thing as a mother or a father on that understanding. These are just puppets that you use in order to come through that gateway, which you call a womb, which is the whom. Whom are you? The unknown. Am I as I am, as you are? I'll keep you guys envisioned. Or until next time, I'll see you guys next time. Until then, I'll keep you guys envisioned. 0, 1.